Let's go ahead. Good morning, all of you. Okay. So quickly, we have finished with first four chapters. Okay. So as it is, I told you, there were not that lengthy chapters. First four initial basics, residential status, agricultural, and exempt income. Right. So before we proceed with the new chapter, is it okay? Shall we quickly revise just the section numbers and names? Is it okay, everybody? Tell me quickly. Because you will be having a test on first four chapters. Okay. All right. We'll go ahead, everybody. So section 1, we know short total extent commencement. Correct. 2 is many of your definitions are there. 3 is what, bacho? Your previous year. 4, charging section. Correct, everybody? 5, 6, we have covered for what? Scope of total income and residential status. And scope of total income and residential status. Then what we had, we had 7 and 9, we had income deemed to received in India. And section number 9, income deemed to accrue or arise in India. Section 10, all we had was what? All your exempt incomes. 10 AA also we had for SEZ. Yes, Celia? That also we have covered. Okay. So that is, I'm just talking about the normal basic sections. I'm not going into details. Otherwise, it will take half an hour to 1 hour to revise each and every concept. Okay. But basically, having said that, almost we have reached now till section number. We are going to go ahead now. All right. Fine. Now, starting about with the next, you can say chapter. Our heads of income are how many? You remember, everybody? Our heads of income are 5. Hai everybody? Salaries, house property, PGPP, and capital gains and income from other sources. Right, all of you? This we had written in the very first chapter itself. And any kind of category of income, I had told you this. Any kind of income, it can be categorized or basically broken up only into 5 parts. Or we have minimum, maximum 5 types of incomes we can have. Any income you want, any kind of income you want can be broken down into these 5 heads of income. Yes, even if it is illegal income. Let us say you are buying and selling drugs. I'm just giving you an example. Even if it is illegal, buying and selling is still what? Trading. It will come under PGBP. Okay, profits and gains from business or profession. Yes, Chalya? So we have discussed that. Any kind of income is taxable, even if it is illegal. Correct? But any kind of income, the categorization can be of how many? 5. Clear, Chalya? We have salaries, house property, PGBP, capital gains, and income from other sources. Correct? 14A section, I have not gone into properly into detail. Again, that is just one page. You can study, you can read it from the study material also. So basically, our heads of income are now starting. Okay. So whatever quickly we had covered in first 4 chapters, the next 5 chapters are all heads of income. Basically, this is the core of your syllabus or core of income tax, where the types of incomes are properly discussed. Are you getting my point? This is the most important or the core of your income tax act. Clear? Because then here we will be understanding what are types of incomes are taxed and how to arrive at those incomes. Clear? If you remember gross total income, GTI was just a merger, you can say amalgamation, or you can say accumulation, cumulative, of all the heads of income only. That is gross total income. Yes, Celia. But every head of income, how to arrive at that figure, that is given in each and every chapter, or you can say head of income. Clearly, everybody? Yes? Fine. So section 15 is what? Salaries. And 22 is house property and so on. So 28 PGBP, 45 capital gains and other sources, 56. So to finish these 5 chapters itself will take another 1 month. Okay, almost. I'm saying again that also around at least 1 month, at least. Okay, because this is quite in detail. Okay, tell you all of you. So I'll be from syllabus point of view or from your batch point of view, we are first not starting with salaries. We're starting with one of the simpler ones, easier ones, income from house property. Okay, all of you, income from house property. Fine. So in your notebook also you can write down income from house property and go to that page of your syllabus. Chapter. Income from house property. So we're starting with what? Your first head of income for your batch. Okay. Income from house property. Yes, still here, all of you? So definitely we should have at least one house over here, no? Okay, this one will also do. Nice. Like we used to draw in school, right? No problem. Because my drawing, is very amazing. All right. So a little bit of farm building we had discussed. Little bit of farm building we had discussed in agriculture and income, and building I had told you, the word building, which I told you was what? Just 4 walls and a roof, it makes a building. Clear to all of you? Yes? All right. So income, like I said, can be broken down only into this 5 categories. One of that is what? Income from what, bacho? House property. The word house property or property itself, it means asset or no, bacho? Tell me this. Is it an asset or is it a liability? Asset. Okay, no. We're talking of some income from asset. Clear, Delia? But again, this asset can give me 2 types of income. Okay? Understand now. It can be, bacho, again, capital income. Okay? Or it can be revenue in nature. A normal basic difference between capital and revenue is quite clear to all of you. Correct? Something which is on regular basis is what? Revenue. Maybe on a smaller scale or smaller amount, maybe revenue. Which is on a larger scale or unique or unusual or whose benefits maybe for more than 1 year, that goes into capital. Yes, still here, all of you? This is quite okay. So if at all, let us say, understand now, I am talking of a house. Correct, everybody? I am talking of a house. What do you think, bacho? From this house, what kind of revenue income I can get? Let us say you have a house, correct? But you are not staying in it. If you're staying in it, then definitely you don't have any income out of it. Okay? You will get income out of that asset only if it is rented out. You will get income from that asset only if it is given, it is used for something else other than personal purpose. Correct? So yes, if I let it out, if I what, bacho? Let it out. That is basically I'll earn my rent income. Clear or no, everybody? That is my revenue. Okay. From the same asset, bacho, or for the same asset, can you give me any example of capital income? It is my asset. So how can I earn any capital income out of it? Very good, Mansi. See, over the period of batch, I keep on giving you hints. I have explained this directly, indirectly through many examples. So it comes to your mind. I know that. Okay. I hope, Nathan, you understood. If at all, bacho, what do? I sell that asset. I sell that asset itself. But what will happen then? Obviously, I'll get my capital income. Is it okay, everybody? So from the same asset, you can have a capital receipt as well as revenue receipt. Clear to everybody? Yes. Okay. Now understand. Again, like I said, we have 5 heads of income. Only 1 head of income is there, but of capital gains. Only 1 head of income is there for capital gains. And for those, we will use that chapter. Okay. For capital receipts, we will use the capital gain chapter. That means remaining of the chapters or remaining of the heads of income, salaries, house property, PGP, income from other sources are mainly for revenue income. All of you okay till here? Yes? All right. So first of all, this chapter and only except capital gain. So capital gain is only for capital receipts. Apart from that, all the remaining heads of income are for revenue income. Clear till here? All right. So I'm earning some income from some asset. I'm earning some now revenue income from the asset. Clear till here, all of you? And yes, mainly my type of income bacho will be rent. My income bacho will be rent. Clear, everybody till here? All right. So some approach or some point of view you should have. Some approach or a point of view you should have always for a chapter. That why am I doing this chapter? From whose point of view I'm doing this chapter? This chapter is applicable for whom? How it is relevant? So understand, bacho, if at all, house property is an asset. House property is an asset and you are earning rent income from that asset or from that house property. My assessee is bacho who? Owner or tenant? Simple. I'm just giving very basic and simple things right now discussing. Who is the assessee bacho? Who is the type of assessee right now? Tell me. Yes, owner of house property. It becomes a little bit tough for you or a little bit, you can say, difficult to imagine yourself as an owner, correct? Because you may be paying rent somewhere or personally in a PG, hostel, etc. Or maybe even for your own family purpose, okay? Or you may be staying, let us say, at your own house, okay? So you can imagine a person having house property, and that also, if he earns rent, that means definitely can I say he has one more property? Are you getting the point? My point. Food, clothing, shelter is basic necessity. We are, as normal people, okay, people like me, poor people, correct? We are happy even if we have one house property where we can stay. So person, if he earns rent income from house property, that means what? He definitely has one more property, now where one property where he stays, and let us say another property which is renting it out. Are you getting the point, everybody? Yes, all of you. I'm just giving you examples or cases. However, there can be one more case. I have a property, house property, but I am not staying there for any reason. It may be far away, it may be an investment property, or my job or my work is in some other city. That property I have given on rent, and I am myself staying on rent. That is also possible. Understood or not, all of you? So all these cases we are going to learn. So we'll be talking about earning rent income, tenant. Then we'll be talking about property tax, which you have to pay to the government. Property tax you might have seen, okay, bills. Then you have to look at home loans, repayment of principal, repayment of interest. All these interesting things are going to come up in this chapter. Then we are going to see what if it is only land. What if you're giving the society hall on rent, or if there are joint owners, or let us say PG, PG, paying guest. One of the rooms is given on rent, not entire property is given on rent, only one of the rooms is given on rent. Correct? So all these things are going to happen. Or maybe the property is getting constructed. So from when this chapter will start, or when this head of income will be applicable. Or let us say out of 12 months, 10 months you had given on the rent, 2 months you stayed over there, or COVID happened, then you got no tenant itself. Correct? So all these possible cases are there, and for them we have to see their taxability. What happens in their taxation? Got my point, everybody? So who is our assessee for this chapter? He is the owner of a house property. Clear, all of you? Yes? All right. This you can write down, okay, for your understanding. From the at least for the point of view of this chapter, our assessee is bacho, owner of the house property. He's getting rent income. Clear? In simple language, he's rich. Okay. We'll go ahead, everybody. Okay, fine. Chalo. Let's start. Income from house property. Like I said, I'm not starting with the sequence of the Income Tax Act. Otherwise, section 15 starts with salaries that I'm right now skipping. I'll be doing that after house property. So one of the very basic normal ones I'm taking first, income from house property. Okay, everybody? Okay. Section 22. Even again, if you go back in the first chapter, you will see that at the end of first chapter, section 22 is the charging section. Okay. So I'm writing there in the textbook also. Even you guys can write down there. It is what? Charging section. All right, all of you. Now, what was the meaning of charging section? That will be a little bit more clear when we read the section. Okay, ready? Chalo. Pay attention now. The annual value of any property, the property being or comprising of building or land appurtenant thereto. Appurtenant means you can write down over there, attached. Attached. Or land appurtenant thereto, of which the assessee is the owner. Simple. Is chargeable to tax under the head income from house property. Very simple, or you can say one single line, simple line is given to you. It is giving you what? introduction of this head of income, but mainly telling you that only this type of income or such type of income will be chargeable under this head of income. Okay. Basically, it is like an eligibility or a qualification. If it satisfies the charging section, then the head of income is applicable. Are you getting my point? What did I say? If the charging section, the eligibility criteria conditions given is satisfied, only then that particular head of income is applicable. And all the sections after the charging section, all the sections after the charging section are telling you how to calculate, compute the income from that head of income. Are you getting my point, all of you? The first section of every head of income gives you the what, bacho? Charging section. Okay, the qualification or eligibility of the income. Clear till all of you? Right. So again, going back in the charging section. The annual value of any property, obviously asset. And what is asset? Building or land attached thereto. So basically, again, I am repeating building. Don't directly take in mind a big building, 5 floor, 10 floor, 30 floor. Building can be a small bungalow also. It can be any kind of small area also. Okay, clear all of you? All right, all of you. It can be just 4 walls and 1 roof. That is a building. Or a land attached thereto. So land is having that value, or land, you are earning that income from land, not because it is a vacant land or it is just a land. It is but to attached to that building. At times in your society, you may have an open, you can say space or a parking space or a hall or a lawn. Hai na? But what? Again, I'm talking of society lawn or society space. Correct, all of you? Now you may earn rent also from that particular area. Correct? Parking space, etc. Society hall. Again, that will be what? Still under this income from house property, because that land or that area is getting value because of the building, not separately. Okay? We'll go ahead, everybody. Okay. There too, of which the assessee owner will be chargeable in the head income from house property. Okay? That is what bacho section 22. It talks about annual value of any property. Fine till here? Are they using the word bacho rent only? Are they using the word bacho rent? Tell me. No, definitely not. They're just using the word annual value. Okay. So some interesting things will come in our discussion. Okay, ready? So 22 was bacho annual value. 23, pay attention. Determination of annual value. What did I tell you? The first section is always charging section. The sections after charging sections help you to compute the income from the head of income. All right, we'll go ahead. Chalo. 23, determination, that is finding out, computing annual value, because this is taxable. What is taxable? Annual value is taxable. So how to calculate what's your annual value? Right or wrong? Let's go ahead. Chalo. So for that, we have to arrive at determination or finding out gross annual value. GAV, gross annual value, minus municipal taxes paid by the owner during the year. Okay. And what you arrive at, bacho, is what? Net annual value. If I talk about taxes, bacho, there will be lots and lots and lots of taxes, which we pay directly or indirectly. Even if when you buy a vehicle, there can be GST, there can be again TCS, tax creditor source, there can be road tax, your RTO taxes, RTO charges, etc. Correct? So for bacho property also, when the property is falling within some corporation limits, municipality limits, every year you also have to pay a property tax. Yes, till here? You might have checked in maybe in your location. Okay, for every property, obviously, who pays the municipal taxes? The owner pays the municipal taxes. Okay, I'm talking of municipal taxes paid to the government, municipality, corporation, etc. Yes, till here? I am not talking of society maintenance charges. Society maintenance charges are paid to society. It can be 500, 1,000, 5,000 rupees per month. Yes or no? I'm talking of directly once in a year, property tax being paid to the government. Clear till all of you? Whether you use it or you don't use it. Clear? But because you have property, because there are some activities or services given by the corporation, you are charged. Okay, based on your area, valuation, etc. Okay, all of you? Fine. Again, for your understanding, normally it can be, I don't know, between 5,000 to 10,000 rupees per annum. Depends. Again, like I said, on location and your type of property. All right, Elia. These things you can check at your home also, or maybe nearby, whoever is your close. You can ask how much property tax is there every year we pay. Okay. Chalo, so what do we tax bachcho in charging section? Annual value. How do we arrive at annual value? First we calculate GAV. What is GAV? Gross annual value. From that, what can you reduce? Expenditure. Municipal tax is paid by the owner during the year. Correct, Elio? Because that is your expenditure, no? So annual valuation minus expenditure, you will get your net annual value. Clear? Yes. Should we go ahead, everybody? Chalo, let's go ahead. Some other conditions, but pay attention. Property should consist of any land, any building or land appurtenant. Appurtenant means what? Attached thereto. Correct, Elio? Are we talking about anything else? Trading asset, furniture, motor vehicle, something like that? No. We're talking about what? What is the property? Building or land. Correct? Attached, but okay. Not just normal, or you can say vacant land. Okay, let's go ahead, everybody. Assessee must be the owner of the property, or at least he should have the right, to collect the rent income. Clear, Leo? All right. The property may be used for any purpose. The property may be used for any purpose, but it should not be used by the owner for the purpose of any business or profession carried on by him, the profit of which is chargeable to tax. Now, this part you can just right now just ignore. Correct? Okay, that part will come in the another head of another chapter. What is the first part? The property may be used for any purpose. Now, what purpose, Bacho? Property can be used for what purpose then? What do you think? We are talking about, let us say, house. The house can be used for what purpose? You will stay there, residence. That can be one purpose. Any other purpose? You've seen a house to be used for purpose. Party. Okay. Actually, you've taken the one house for only one day or weekend on party. Okay. What else? That is again the residence only, no? Correct. See, it can be for residence. Have you seen any lawyers or doctors' office also? They may be at times bachcho in a residential building. It can be in a residential building. Correct, Elio? Some classes are being taken. Some beauty parlor. Beauty parlor is a very common example. Correct? I'm talking a proper beauty parlor, not just one of the room is beauty parlor. Entire flat or entire area is beauty parlor. Okay. Or classes are going on. Doctors' clinic, lawyers' clinic, chartered accountants also, professionals, you can say any kind of consultants also, right? Or a person who has his own business, and in one of the residential flats, he's from the flat, he's doing all of his business. Yes, still all of you got my point? So property can be mainly used for residence, stay, that means dwelling, residence, or it can be also used for business purposes. No, by anybody, by the tenant I'm talking about. By the tenant. Yes or no? At times there are some cases, in my building it was there. The shopkeeper, okay? I mean, building on the ground floor has shops. So one of the owner of the shops, he wanted to keep some goods, okay? Some goods, but he did not have a go down. So he took one of the ground floor flat behind him. Ground floor flat, or I think first floor flat it was. But he used that flat. It was obviously a residential flat, but he used that flat to store his, you can say, stock. So he use that flat as but to go down. Are you getting the point, everybody? So he's paying rent, but the person who received the rent is still for him, but to what? Income from house property. So the property can be used for any purpose. Clear till here? Mainly there are two purposes, residence and other one can be commercial. Yes, everybody. So purpose is not important. Okay, fine. Next one is again important. I've already kept it in bold. Now look at the wide interpretation or understanding of the term buildings. Okay. Sometimes it is not defined in the act. So what do? We go to the circulars, notifications, or we go to case studies, case laws. And these things are now, you can say, decided that buildings include residential buildings, obviously. Factory buildings also. Again, don't keep in your mind factory building is against a tall building. It can be a factory shed also. You might have heard about this word, shed. Correct? If you go to those areas, KIDC, MIDC, etc., TIDC, I don't know, some depending on states to states. Industrial Development Corporation. Correct, Ilya? Basically, they are areas dedicated by the government for factories, industries you might have in your own location, nearby your city or town. Correct or wrong? Those areas are owned by government. Those areas are owned by government as a dedicated area to develop, manufacture, etc. Clearly, here, over the electricity, water, all those services obviously are provided. But proper planning is done now. Small plots are created. Plots, you understand now? Areas. Okay, and every plot is given on lease. Lease, you understand? Long-term rent. Lease of 40 years, 40, or lease of 99 years. Correct, Ilya? So, obviously, it is as good as sale only, but ownership cannot be transferred. That is the concept of lease, na, bachcho? Are you getting my point, everybody? Are haan? So, factory building, even that can be given on rent. Okay, so lessor and lessee, basically owner and tenant can again go give ahead as subtenant. Okay, everybody. So these income also, income from factory buildings, basically some area you have given, that factory building you have given on rent. Clear? Offices, very important now. Please understand. Shops, godowns, and other commercial premises will also come under income from house property. Okay. So, bacho, that house property words becomes a little bit tricky. Understand that the heading is income from house property, but we are taxing buildings and land attached there too. And building, bacho, includes shops also, commercial shops also. Okay, everybody, go down also. Understand, this is very important. Okay. Then, land appurtenant means what? Attached, connected with the building, like garden. Now, garden obviously is maybe an open space only. It may not have a building, but are you getting my point? You are earning income from letting out of the garden premises, giving that area on rent, maybe for 1 day, 2 day party, etc. Yes, or some event, garage, okay, playgrounds, etc. But connected to the building. Clear, all of you? Parking space, etc. That will all come under income from house property. Clear, correct, everybody? However, income from letting out vacant land. Vacant land means an open plot. It has no building whatsoever on it. That will come under income from other sources. Clear, Delia? If it is agricultural land, agricultural income. Remember that, everybody. But again, if it is not an agricultural land, just a normal land, vacant land, no building also, that will go under income from other sources. Yes. Then owner means the person who is entitled to receive income from the property in his own right. So basically, he has a right to recover or claim the rent. Next one, again important. The requirement of registration of the sale deed, or basically your rent deed, okay, is not required. The requirement of registration of sale deed is not required. Understand now, bacho? Income Tax Act is separate or different than any other acts. Means what? I told you, Income Tax Act has power to tax even illegal income. So it is not going to go into the technicalities of the transaction. Meaning what? In Contract Act, if you remember a little bit of Contract Act, and in that, one of the essential conditions was that the formality should be completed. Formalities. Correct, everybody? Means what? In that Contract Act also we had seen that for a contract to be valid, proper, okay, it should be properly signed wherever required, duly stamped, duly registered if required. Are you getting my point? So, for example, bacho, if at all you are transferring a flat, a bungalow, or a property, it has to be registered or no? Have you heard of the document Index 2? Or if it is a land, then it is an extract called Satbara. Satbara means 7 extract 12, 7/12, depends again from actual act to act. But it is a document. You have to go to the registrar's department. You have to take a booking. The seller, buyer both go over there. They register the document. Their photos are clicked over there itself. Their thumbprints are taken. So it is a proof in that in front of registrar, you have executed that document. That is the date of execution of sale deed. Okay. Basically, that is a proof that the ownership has been transferred. Are ha ya na? Understood or no? That is a proof that ownership has been transferred. Clear? Income Tax Act says we don't care about that. What does Income Tax Act say? We don't care. We just care who got the rent income. The property may be in the name of A. The person who might be handling the property may be B. And the rent may be received by C. We don't care. Okay. Who has the right to receive rent? That is important. Whose name is on the property paper? We don't care of that. That is your headache. You solve it in the court. We will tax that person who has a right to receive the rent income. Understood, all of you? It is not going to solve your problems for you. If there is a dispute between brothers and sisters, this is my property, that is my property, but rent is still getting, you can say, accrued or received. Department says we are going to tax it right now. You solve your dispute later on. Okay, everybody, got it? Ownership includes freehold or leasehold rights. Okay. Basically, there can be a loan on the property, or there may not be a loan. Still, you are the owner. Okay. Or you may be holding the property only by yourself. You are the owner and you are holding it. Or if you are holding the property on lease. Understood, Leo? Long-term lease. Then again, if at all you sublet now you know, bacho, sublet. So it will be taxed in your hands also if at all you are subletting it. Okay. If the tenant is giving it to another tenant. So that is what leasehold right. Okay. The person who owns the building need not also be the owner of the land upon which it stands. Again, there were cases that land belonged to somebody else, building belonged to somebody else. So it is not but necessary. Okay. That building and land should be owned by the same party, not necessary. We'll go ahead, everybody. The assessee must be the owner of the house property during the year. Understand now. This I think we discussed in which chapter? Some concept we are done. Okay, we'll see that. Understand now. The assessee must be owner of the property in the year. That's it. It is not necessary that he is the owner in the AY. Means what? Understand. We are in which PY? 22-23. Correct, Ilya? Let us say, but obviously he is the owner in 22-23. Is it okay, everybody? And let us say, I'm just giving an example. As on 15th April 2023, he sold the property. Yes or no? He sold the property. So basically, he is owner in PY, but he is not owner in AY. Does it matter to us? No. Did he earn income? Yes. So we are going to tax it for that PY in AY 23-24. Are you getting my point? You need not be owner in the AY. You have to be owner in the obviously what? PY, because property can be sold, can be purchased. Are haan ya na? Clear till all of you? Understood earlier? It is not material or not important whether he is the owner in the AY. Simple. I hope that was not a very big problem. Income from subletting is not taxable as income from house property, but it will go under IOS, income from other. It can go under which income from other sources. Clear till all of you? Fine. Then we'll come to the next part. Again, a little bit starting with, we have a little bit of theory, but then we'll be going ahead. Okay. We'll go ahead, everybody. First part. So what is about section 22? Charging section. What do we tax? Annual value. How do you arrive at annual value? That is given in section 23. It is GAV minus municipal taxes paid by owner during the year. You arrive at NAV. Clear till all of you? See, is this my first step or no? Check. GAV minus municipal taxes. I'm giving in very simple language right now. Minus municipal taxes. What do you arrive at? NAV. Clear? We'll go ahead. All right. So obviously the question is now what, but so how do we arrive at GAV? Okay, how do we arrive at GAV? Ready? Chalo, read. Computation of GAV. Step 1. Calculate expected rent. What, bacho? Step 1 is what? Calculate expected rent. The word expected means what? It is actual or estimate. What do you think? Actual or estimate? Estimate, correct. Estimate, no, bacho, correct. It is expected means what? It is estimated. You know? We'll go ahead everybody. All right. So calculate expected rent. So they are saying which expected rent, not actual rent. Not just actual rent. Okay, very interesting concept. We'll come to that also. Why? Because income tax department or income tax law taxes annual value. Okay, taxes but what? Annual value. Basically, understand very important thing. What we tax in this chapter is the Income Tax Act, bachcho, basically focuses on income earning capacity of house property. What are we taxing? Income earning capacity. Capacity. Okay, understand. Let us say for the property. Okay, for the property. The rent in the market. Okay, the rent in the market, I'm using the word, is 20,000 rupees per month. That means rupees 2.4 lakhs per annum. Yes, the rent in the market. Clear till here? Now, if you give it, but you actually for 15,000 rupees per month instead of 20, it will come to 1.8 lakhs. Correct till here? Income Tax Act says that is your mistake, not our mistake. That is what? Your mistake, not our mistake, that you gave it for less than the expected rent. Clear till here, all of you? And again, vice versa. Instead of 20,000 per month, okay? Instead of 20,000 per month, we have given for bacho 30,000. It comes to, let us say, bacho 3.6 lakhs, okay? Per annum. Then department is very happy. Then income tax law is obviously act is what? Very, very happy. Well, nice, they're only good. You exceeded our expectation. So we will congratulate you, okay, by taxing you more. Basically, whatever you do, either estimate or actual, what do we tax, bacho? Whichever is higher. Whichever is higher. Okay? Well, logic doesn't work actually in income tax much. Why? Understand why? Because we are taxing its income earning capacity. Understand again that same concept. We're taxing, but what mainly now it's income earning capacity. If estimate is 2.4, but you are taxing, you are charging only, or you're earning only 1.8, the capacity is 2.4. If capacity is 2.4 and you received 3.6, you exceeded the capacity. That is not a problem for department. They are obviously very happy. You show more income, they are more happy. Bacho. Simple. Clearly here? So in fact, the estimate was wrong. The capacity is 3.6 for that matter. Okay. If the tenant doesn't have capacity, tenant will not take. It is buyer and seller's market. Simple. The tenant will take some other property which he can afford. It is simple buying and selling open market. And then the seller will try to sell at higher. The buyer will try to buy at cheaper price. That is an open market. No, you can't do anything about it. Isn't it? So that's why we have negotiation. So that tells me that sometimes a deal is done, sometimes deal is not done. Simple. Okay, everybody. So in a very simple language, but what did you understand? Whichever is higher, we tax. Estimate or actual rent received or receivable. Okay, all of you. Sure. First part. So how do you calculate estimated income? Wow. Or you can say expected income. Expected rent is higher of municipal valuation of the property. Okay. Municipal valuation. Because the municipality, the corporation charges municipal taxes based on its valuation. Okay. Again, it's income earning capacity, but it is done by who, bacho? Municipal. You can municipality or you can say corporation. Okay. Or it is higher of check, bacho. Higher of fair rent. It is higher of what, bacho? Municipal valuation or fair rent. Any of it. Okay. Higher. Whichever is higher. Whichever is higher. Clear till here? So again, let us check. Out of both of these, what is happening? Okay. What is municipal valuation? Valuation done by the local authorities for calculating what? Municipal taxes. Valuation done by local authorities. Fine till here, all of you? Okay. And what is fair rent? Rent. Understand, right? This is a very nice example. Which similar property can fetch. Fetch means get in the same or similar locality. Now, wherever you are staying, whichever location you are staying, it has some rent potential. You may be staying on rent, or maybe it is your own property. Even if it is your own property, it has some rent potential. Correct, Ilya? Rent potential. Depending on the area, if the property next to you, you may not be the owner, somebody else is the owner, but even that property is going to get similar rent. So if your property can get 15,000 rupees per month, your property can get 15,000 rupees per month. The neighbor's property is also going to get similar only. There will not be a huge difference, 10,000, 25,000, etc. Yes, everybody? Yes, small difference can be there depending on furniture, etc. Correct, everybody? So we can check the rent in the next building also, same floor, same, you can say, life of the building, how old it is. You get an idea. It is basically fair rent is nothing but fair market value. Understood or no? Fair rent is what, bacho? Fair market value. Tell me, understood? Okay. So higher of what? Municipal valuation or fair rent. Hai na? Higher of what? Again, municipal valuation or fair rent. So again, if you see here something is happening on higher side. However, there is also something called a subject to. Means, okay, it cannot exceed the standard rent. It cannot exceed what to the what? Standard rent. What is gross annual value? It is higher of municipal valuation or fair rent. But it cannot, whatever figure we choose from here, it cannot be more than standard rent. Okay, that is, it is restricted to maximum standard rent. And what is standard rent? It is a maximum rent which can be collected under Rent Control Act. So basically, Income Tax Act cannot override some other act where the some other act is controlling but what? Maximum rent of an area or location. Clear till all of you? So there are three things. What, bacho? Municipal valuation, your standard fair rent and standard rent. Standard rent is what? It is just again a limitation put by a Rent Control Act. Okay, wherever it is applicable. Or we'll say if applicable, then whatever the highest rent you can collect, above that, I cannot take for income tax purposes. Understood, all of you? Correctly, all of you? All right. Check step number 2. Actual rent received or receivable. Step 2. Rent for the year or part of the year for which the house property is let out. Finally, less unrealized rent, I'll go into that later on, is actually your rent received or receivable. Or in simple language, I'm going to use the word what? Actual rent. Clear till all of you? So what is step number 1? Expected. Step number 2, actuals. Clear till all of you? And step 3 is what, bacho? Higher of step 1 or step 2. So what is step 3? In fact, bacho is your GAV. Understood on year till year? Everybody? Yes? So what is step 1, bacho? Expected rent. What is expected rent? Higher of municipal valuation or standard rent, but higher of municipal valuation or fair rent, but subject to standard rent. That is step 1. Step 2, actual rent received or receivable. And step 3, higher of both. That is my GAV. From GAV, bacho, what can you reduce? Municipal taxes. I'll arrive at NAV. Clear, Delia? So let's try this. Question number 2. Don't forget the picture. Why are we doing this? Annual value, GAV, NAV, section 22. Because section 22 says what do we tax? Annual value. Simple. Okay. Chalo. Come to question number 2. See what is already given in the textbook. I'm not going to repeat the theory part, है ना? Why to again waste time? So theory part, please, you can revise later on. Let's go ahead, everybody. Okay. So write down question number 2. Ready? What does this say? Calculate GAV in the following independent cases. Okay. 1 point is remaining. We have put that also in the textbook. If at all some figure is not given, okay, pay attention. If at all some figure is not given, well, it is the point here. Assume it as not available. Assume it as what, but not available, not as 0. Don't take it as 0 because whichever is lower, higher, we don't want that. If it is not given, that means it is not available. Take it as NA. Don't take it as 0. Okay, everybody? That means we'll just ignore that figure. Ready, everybody? Calculate GAV. We want just a GAV. And for all of this, we are given all the 4 figures. Municipal valuation, fair rent, standard rent, and actuals for step number 2. Yes, everybody? You have to find out GAV. Ready? Steady? Go. Chalo. Computation of gross annual value. I am doing case 1. There are total 8 cases. Okay. What is the name of step number 1? What is the name of step number 1? Come on, all of you, tell me. You can unmute. Correct. It is expected rent. It is what? Expected rent. Clear? And what does it say? First step under that. Higher of municipal valuation. How much it is, bacho? In the first question, 4 lakhs. Municipal rent means municipal valuation. Or fair rent. How much is that? 8 lakhs. So whichever is higher, I'll give there over there. Let us say 1 underline. Okay, just 1 dash for our simplification. Okay. However, so what is my answer in both of them higher? That is what about rupees 8 lakhs. Clear? Subject to, that means what? It cannot be more than standard rent. Okay, subject to. So next line. SR. है ना बच्चों? SR is how much? Tell me in the given case. 3 lakhs. Are you getting my point? So out of the first 2 numbers, you have to take higher, and whatever is selected, that we will compare with SR. Are you getting my point, everybody? So from the first 2 numbers higher, and that selected number, now compare that with SR. And that selected number and SR, whichever is lower. In simple language, your answer cannot ever be more than SR. Because SR is bachu by Rent Control Act. It cannot be more than that. Okay? Understood or no? Everybody can tell me. We'll go ahead. So what is my answer? 8 lakhs or 3 lakhs? 3 lakhs. Because subject to means whichever is now lower. So I'm writing here in bracket, but that is lower of 8 lakhs or 3 lakhs. What is the answer? 3 lakhs. Yes. Therefore, I'm again writing expected rent. See, this is the first question. That's why obviously I'm writing all the things in detail. Clear? Expected rent rupees 3 lakhs as per all the valuations. Hai na? Fine. However, step 2 is what? Rent received or receivable. Hai na? Clear till here? That is in our simple language, but what do we call it? Actual rent. Clear? Actual rent. Okay, all of you? How much it is given to us? Obviously, it is one standard figure. Actual rent means actually owned by the owner. It will be only one single figure for the year, no? Correct? And therefore, step 3. GAV. And what is bacha GAV? Is higher of step 1 or step 2. Simple. Higher of step 1 or step 2. That is higher of. What bacha step 1 is what? 3 lakhs or 6 lakhs. Okay. Therefore, bacha my GAV is what? Gross annual value. Rupees 6 lakhs. I hope this is clear, all of you. Yes. Okay. We'll be doing a little bit faster. Okay. The next of the question. This is the first question, so I'm ready each and every word, etc. All the things in detail. Khushbu okay, no? Khushbu Nitin? Now tell me in a way, how much is the rent received by the owner in case number 1? Actually, he has earned 6 lakhs and we are taxing 6 lakhs. No problem, will you? Yeah? He's actually earned 6 lakhs. So, case 2. Ready, everybody? Let's go. Come on. We have 8 cases to go. Case 2. Ready, everybody? So I'm writing in short now. What is my step 1 in actually? Expected rent. Which is higher of municipal valuation or fair rent, but subject to standard rent. Okay, now check. What am I writing? Higher of MV or FR, but lower compared to what? SR. Hai na? That is higher of 4 lakhs or fair rent is what? 8 lakhs. What is higher? 8 lakhs. Correct, all of you? However, subject to SR. Therefore, bacho, lower of what now? 8 lakhs. Correct, na? But compare that 8 lakhs with standard rent 5 lakhs. Who is lower? 5 lakhs. Okay. Therefore, bacho, GAV is how much? Okay, everybody. That is my step 1. Not GAV, that is my expected rent. Sorry. Okay. However, step 2, actual rent. Received or receivable. 5 or 4.5. No, 4,50,000. Correct, all of you? Therefore, step 3, bacho now. Lower or higher? Lower. or higher, it is higher, sorry. GAV is what? Higher of 1 or 2. That is what? Higher of 5 lakhs or 4.5 lakhs. So therefore, GAV is what, Bacho? 5 lakhs. Fine till here, all of you. Now this is little bit unfair now. Check why it is unfair. Why it becomes a little bit unfair? Tell me. Indrajit. Why it is unfair? What do you think? Why it is unfair? Correct. Actual income one is only 4.5 lakhs. Very good. Correct, Mansi. But you are paying tax now on 5 lakhs. You are paying tax on the income which you have not earned. Why? Because I told you in the starting only. In this chapter, we tax the capacity and not only the actual income. We tax the property's capacity. Understood, Khushbu? All of you? Got it, everybody? So we'll go ahead, everybody. So case 3 ready, bacho? Come on, quickly do it. Finish it off now. Case 3. Step 1. Expected rent. Can I do faster now? Higher of municipal valuation or fair rent, but subject to standard rent. So therefore, higher of case 3, no? 7.5 or 8. Higher is what? 8. But lower of 8 and SR is how much? Case 3, no? 3 lakhs only. Therefore, expected rent 3. But step 2, actual rent received or receivable. This figure has to be given to you, actual. It cannot be estimated. Actual will definitely be given to you. You know? Actual rent 4.5. Fine. So obviously our answer is what also 4.5. GAV is higher of 1 or 2 or higher of 3 lakhs or 4.5 lakhs. Therefore, GAV is बच्चों 4.5 lakhs. Fine till here, all of you? Done? Nitin, all okay? Khushbu? You go ahead. I'll just wait for 1 minute. You go ahead with all the 8 cases. If you have issues, then you will check with my answer. Otherwise, you have to go ahead. Okay? Case 3 done. Case 4. Step 1 expected rent higher of municipal valuation or fair rent but subject to standard rent. Case 4. So higher of 7.5 or 8 lakhs. That is 8 lakhs but lower of 8 lakhs or 5 lakhs. Therefore, expected rent rupees 5 lakhs. Step 2 actuals. Actual rent 4.5 lakhs. Therefore, GAV is higher of both. Okay, so final answer of case 4 is actual rent is how much? 4.5, no? Sorry, 5. Yeah. Whichever is higher, my mistake. 5 lakhs, not 4.55, whichever is higher. Yes. Correct, Delia? Something wrong? I do some different figure? And it is 6 lakhs, not 4.5. Array. I do number of some other case. Okay. 6 lakhs. So 5 lakhs or 6 lakhs. So higher is what? 6 lakhs. GA is what? 6 lakhs. Correct? Yes. You are right. Thank you. We'll go ahead, everybody. So case 4 answer was 6 lakhs. Case 5. Again, step 1. Expected rent is higher of municipal valuation or fair rent but subject to standard rent. Yes, that is higher of case number 5, 12 or 8. 12 lakhs. But lower of now 12 lakhs or standard rent is how much? 5 lakhs. Therefore, step 1 answer is what? 5 lakhs. Correct, Ilya? All right. However, step 2 is what? Actual rent. Rent received or receivable. Case number 5. 4.5. Therefore, 3 GAV is higher of 1 or 2. So gross annual value is what, bacho? Everybody, rupees 5 lakhs. Clear till here? Yes. Is case 5 answer that 5 lakhs? Yes. I hope this is okay, Kushbu. Case 6. Expected rent higher of municipal valuation or fair rent but subject to standard rent higher of case 6. No, again 12 lakhs, 8 lakhs, higher is 12 lakhs, but lower of now we have to compare 12 lakhs to lower is what? 13. Oops. So lower is still 12 lakhs, therefore expected rent is what? 12 lakhs. Correct, everybody? Step 2 is what? Actual rent received or receivable. $6 lakhs. Oh my God. Double. Yes. Therefore, GAV is again higher of 12 lakhs or 6 lakhs. Therefore, GAV 12 lakhs. Finally, all of you. Now that is your case number 6. Case 7, second last, right? Step 1. Expected rent is higher of municipal valuation or fair rent but subject to standard rent. That is higher of municipal valuation 8 lakhs. Or it is, I'm writing not available. So obviously higher is 8 lakhs. Lower of 8 lakhs. Or again, SR is not available. Okay. Therefore, expected rent is what, bachcho? 8 lakhs. Correct, yes. That is my step 1 answer. But step 2, actual rent. Actual rent. Yes, everybody. Actual rent is how much about case number 7? 6 lakhs. So step 3, GAV is higher of 8 lakhs or 6 lakhs. So GAV is what? How much? 8 lakhs. Yes, still here, all of you? Clear? That is for case number 7. You know? I hope you guys are ahead of me. Huh? Okay, last answer is what? Case 8. Type all of you. We should do it now without writing everything else. Okay. Again, in your mind, you should be able to do it faster. So higher of municipal valuation 5 lakhs or 6 lakhs. Higher is 6 lakhs. Lower of 6 lakhs or 2 lakhs, 2 lakhs. Okay. That is step 1 answer. Step 2, 3.5 lakhs. Therefore, but step 3, higher of 2 oblique 3.5 lakhs. So therefore, GAV is rupees 3.5 lakhs. Okay. There's a little bit in a rough calculation, as in this is not proper presentation. But it is only, these questions are, you can say, concept clarity questions. Okay. These are, what do we call it as? Concept clarity questions. And just to clear your concepts. Proper question will start later on. When some further more data is given to you, isn't it? Khushbu, Nathan, any issues till now? Tell me. You can tell me, okay? All right. Okay. We'll go ahead, everybody. All of you. Yes. Sure. Come to again this page 5.2. Right, everybody? I'll give you time. Read this part. Current receipt part. Till here. Quickly go through it. Read it. Rent agreement. Tenancy means rent agreement. Okay. Okay. Then done. Khushbu, Fancy. Okay. No rent. Step 2 is what, bachcho? Your rent received or receivable, hai na? So rent received for the year or for some part of the year, for which the time period the property is let out. No issue still here. What do you have after that? In next point, less unrealized rent. Okay, unrealized rent. What do you normally mean by unrealized rent? Was it due or no? Unrealized means what do you think? Was it due or no? It was due, but you could not recover it. You could not recover it. Is it a bad debt in a way? Yes. Yes. Due but unpaid. Very good. Yes. Due but unpaid is your unrealized. So in a way, bachcho, is a bad debt. And a bad debt. This money and you're taxing it because you're taking step number 2, rent received or receivable. Rent received or receivable you're taking. Correct, everybody? So the actual money which you have not received, you're taxing it. The actual money which you have not received, even that you are taxing. You may have given the property on rent. The tenant also has occupied the property for the period agreed. So the property is not lying vacant. The property is not vacant. The property was occupied by tenant. He has used it but not paid rent. And still you are paying tax on the same as receivable. That becomes unfair on the assessee. Clear? So he's given some option. What? That okay. The period for which you had let out. Okay. Whatever. Let us say in very simple example, we'll take for entire year. Let us say the property was let out for entire 12 months. So the tenant was there for 12 months, but he paid rent for 10 months. I'm repeating. The property was let out for entire year. The tenant used it for entire year, but he paid rent only for 10 months. 2 months, but to bad date. So in step number 2, what we say, entire rent received or receivable for the year, but minus what will it take? Rent which we have not actually used or not, which we have not received. Clear? So basically unrealized rent we will reduce. Okay. But that is also subject to rule 4. Subject to rule 4 means rule 4 conditions should be satisfied. Now what are rule 4 conditions? Check. Unrealized rent shall be deducted only if the following conditions are satisfied. The first one, the tenancy is bona fide. Tenancy means rent agreement is registered. Rent agreement is registered. Yes or no, everybody? Otherwise, anybody will claim, I did not receive only, taken the rent in cash, etc. So the rent agreement has to be registered. The defaulting tenant has vacated or steps have been taken to force him to vacate the property. Will you give some other property to the same tenant who has not given you rent? Tell me. Will you give him some other property? No. Just to claim bachu unrealized rent, you will request or demand from him the rent. But will you give him some other property? No. So you will obviously tell him to leave the property. Vacate the property. Yes or no? Okay. Or steps have been taken to compel him to vacate the property. The defaulting tenant is not in occupation of any other property of the assessee. Now defaulting tenant may have gone only, hidden somewhere, away from you. So we can't guarantee where he is. But the owner, assessee should not give him some other property to stay. No. Are you getting my point? So if at all you want to claim rule 4 loss, unrealized rent, the owner and tenant have no kind of connection now. Connection means the owner has not given him some other property on rent. Okay. And lastly, the assessee has taken all reasonable steps to start legal proceedings or legal suit for the recovery of the unpaid rent, or satisfies the AO that legal proceedings would be useless. Satisfies the AO, that means AO means assessing officer, income tax officer, that why he has not filed bachu case. Rent is 30,000. Court expenditure 50,000. Will you do that? No. Yes, that also for what price? 30,000 into 30%. Na? 30,000 may be my income. Correct? But tax liability is only 12,000. Na, bachcho? 30% let us say. Are haan ya na? Got it clear, all of you? So that thing also you have to check. Otherwise, the tenant is gone in another country. So there is no use of filing a case against him. If this part is satisfied by AO, then yes, he will allow deduction as per rule 4. Reduction means reduction of unrealized rent. Clear till here, all of you? Yes? We'll go ahead. Okay. Check. Understand now. Non-refundable deposit will be included in the rent. Received or received. Non-refundable deposit, non-refundable. Generally, this does not happen, but if at all it is taken, 1,000 rupees, 2,000 rupees as security deposit, but non-refundable, then it is income only, na? If it is a deposit, you are claiming it as deposit, but you will not refund it ever. You have received it, it is your benefit, it is your income. Clear? So even non-refundable deposit will be treated as income. Clear, everybody? However, now understand, very important. Refundable deposit. In a way, it is like a loan. In a way, it is like a loan. Deposit is to be repaid only, na, normally. So if it is a refundable deposit, it is not your income. If it is a refundable deposit, it is not your income. Okay. So will not be included in the rent received or receivable. However, I'll give you one example or some application of use of a refundable deposit. Means what? Understand. Let us talk about some practical case. You may have stayed on the rent or given on rent some property. You might be aware, let us say, okay, it is based on some assumption only. Okay, what actually happens? You take bacho on rent, okay, or give on rent, whatever. It is basically a rent agreement. You know? Let us say rent you decided is 15,000 per month. Clear? Acha. Fine, clear? Practically, what do you think? The tenant spends how much amount when he enters into rent agreement? What do you think, practically speaking? Rent decided is 15,000 rupees. How much the tenant gives to the owner? Any figure you can think of. Okay. Okay, practically what happens is here, at least in my city, I think it is regular everywhere it is. Cities like Bangalore, etc., they are more costly. They take 6 months advance or 12 years rent in advance. Okay. Here in Pune, they take 2 months rent as deposit only. Only as deposit, okay? 2 months rent as deposit. That is one point. And what do you think, Bachu? When do you pay rent? At the end of the month or beginning of the month? What do you think? Always in the beginning of the month. Before the rent is always paid in the beginning of the month. No owner here in India takes rent after the month. It is always beginning of the month. It is here in advance. Okay. Fine. So basically, if I take the same logic, 45,000 rupees will be the expenditure. 2 months rent is deposit. Okay, it is, yes, right. Let us say, but it is refundable deposit. Okay, let me use the word refundable. Okay. And so first month's rent I'm paying in as advance. Can you imagine now what kind of expenditure I require? Okay, all of you. So refund. Okay, fine, tell you. All right. Now pay attention. Let me give you an understanding. Pay attention now. Let us say I entered into 12-month agreement. No issues. Fine. Now after this bacho, there can be 2 cases. After 12 months. Okay. 12 months rent paid. No problem, till you. Good. And after the end of 12 months, deposit is refunded. Fine, till you. All okay, till you. This is one of the most common and safest way of agreements. Okay. 12 months rent paid for 12 months. Yes. Okay. 144, na? 12 12s. Acha, I took 12. Why 12? 12 months rent paid of 15,000. 180, correct. 15,000 is per month. Correct. Okay, everybody. Otherwise, what can happen? Understand. Otherwise, what can happen? 10 months rent paid. And now the tenant, what does he request? The tenant requests what? You already have my 2 months rent as deposit with you. So get it adjusted. Basically, I will not pay you 11th and 12th month rent, and obviously will not pay me back my deposit, because now we are adjusting the deposit against the rent. Are you getting the point? Kushbu, understood? अरे हाँ या ना? Correct, Lilia? In that case, बच्चों, that it was, even if it was a refundable deposit, it got now adjusted, no? So understand, if this deposit is refunded, so this deposit is not an income, correct? You had the money, you kept it with you, and you paid back. Clear, Lilia? But if the deposit is adjusted, then definitely the deposit which you had received becomes an income or no now? Correct, now? Are you again refunding back the deposit? No, but you're adjusting it towards the rent. It is just change of entry, change of nature. So it is your income. Clear till all of you? So non-refundable deposit is always, non-refundable is income. No doubt about it, non-refundable, because it is your benefit now. So non-refundable deposit is definitely your income. Refundable, if you actually give it back, that was never an income. But refundable, if you adjust it towards the rent, it is your income. This point, did you understand? Tell me, all of you. Clear? Okay, we'll go ahead everybody. Or we'll take a break. What do you want? Okay, 10:05. We'll meet at 10:05. Break for 15 minutes then. Chalega? Fine. आगे सब लोग ब्रेक का भी इमोजी दिखते कुछ तो। कौन कौन है यहाँ पे? खुशबू है और नितिन है। आगे सब लोग करे शुरू। So let's go ahead, everybody. Okay, so I hope this point was clear about refundable and non-refundable deposit and adjustment of deposit against rent. Clear till here? Okay. Rule 4 clear a little bit? Unrealized rent, due but not received. So we can reduce it from our actual rent. You know? If rule 4 conditions are satisfied. Come to textbook. Ready? Question number 1. Check. Jayashree owns 5 houses in Chennai. 5 houses. Rich person. Correct? All of which are let out. That means what? She's getting what? Actual rent income. You know? From the properties. Let out, we understand. Let out means given on the rent. Let out. Compute GAV of each houses for the year 22-23. PY. Fine, all of you? Check what all is given to us. Okay. The figures are, we'll take it as per annum. Municipal rent, that is municipal valuation you have. Fair rent, standard rent, actual rent, and something about unrealized rent. Clear till all of you? Okay. Write down. Chalo. You have to calculate GAV for all of them. No issues. Write down in a notebook. Question number 1. Ready? So computation of GAV of Jayashree for AY 23-24. Yes, Julia? Particulars and 5 columns. All right. Done. Step 1. What is step 1, बच्चों? Expected rent. See, in notebook, we can at times we might write down shortcuts or short forms. In exams, you are giving exam only once. That time, right? Wherever normally full form. Okay. Expected rent. What do we say? Higher of? We know what. Higher of MV or fair rent, but subject to standard rent. Fine, till you? Chalo. Let's go one by one. We'll go house-wise. Ready? House-wise. So higher of. I don't have much space. 80,000 or fair rent is 90,000. So higher is 90. But lower of what, बच्चों? 90,000 or oblique. It is not available. So देखो बच्चों में ER is what? Expected rent 90,000. Right, everybody? Finally, all of you. We'll go ahead. House 2. Higher of 55 or 60. है ना? Higher is 60. Lower of 60 oblique 75. The answer is what? 60. Yeah. Expected rent. Okay. Third. It is 65, so same basically. So 65 is the answer for the first step. So lower of 65. Next is what? 58. The answer is what? 58. Expected rent. All right. Fourth house. 24, 25. Higher is 25. But lower of 25,000 or NA not available. So my answer is 25. And lastly, house 5, 75, 80. 80. So lower of what? 80 and 78. So here again answer is my 78, lower. Fine, all of you. I hope all of this is clear, how to calculate expected rent. Next part is what? Actual rent, receipt or receivable, right, everybody? I'll go ahead, no? Actual rent. And we have something about unrealized rent. So first we'll write on the actual rent, because from that we will be able to reduce, no? So 72,000, 72,000. 60, 30. And 72 again. Fine till all of you. Less, what do we say? Unrealized rent. As per rule 4, correct, everybody? Okay, it is unrealized rent of the preceding year and of the current year. We'll take both, or we'll take current year, or we'll take last year. We'll take current PY, last year PY, or both, or none. What? Which one is correct? Only current year PY will take, no? The preceding year's unrealized PY has to be taken in that year only. Isn't it? So whatever belongs to our current PY, only that much will take. Understood? So as it is for house 1, there is no unrealized rent. Okay. Unrealized rent, I'm writing but importantly of current PY. Find till here. Then unrealized rent, but I'm not taking 4,000 of house 2 because it's not of the current year. Then again, house 3, we have of current year 3,000 we can reduce. House 4 is nothing there, and house 5, we have 2,000 and 1,000 also. We'll take only 1,000. I'm writing here actually. Okay. Fine till here, all of you? All right. That is my step 2 answer now. The actual rent received or receivable. Okay. $72, $57, $30, and $71. Fine till here, all of you? But this is my step 2 answer. There was step 3, bachcho. Is higher of 1 or 2. That is my GAV, na? Fine, give me directly answer. 90 or 72? 90. 60 or 72? 72. 58 and 57? 58. 25 or 30? 30. Fine. And 78 or 71? 78. That is what they'll ask you about GAV. Tell me. Yes. All right. Yes, still here. We'll go ahead, everybody. Write a note. We reduce. All right. Point number 1, unrealized rent. Unrealized rent of only current PY. Can be reduced. Okay. Unrealized rent of only current PY can be reduced from current year. Simple. Right, Elio? Preceding years. Unrealized rent. Is already reduced. Is already reduced in the respective PYs. Correct, Elia? Well, whichever year it belongs to, that is not our concern, and the data is also not given to us. Okay. From the respective PY, it is reduced. Okay. Okay. See now, henceforth, lots of reading is required from every chapter and every provision, everything is, all the actually questions are dependent on provisions only. Provision means the law. So to read it properly. Okay. Come to again 5.2. 5.2. Okay. So check. What was section 20 do? Charging section. 23, it talks about your annual value, determination of annual value, isn't it? Good. So, but from GAV, you reduce municipal taxes paid by owner. What do you get? NAV, net annual value. From there, what can you see? Some deductions under section 24. So 22 is what, bacho? Charging section. 23, determination of your annual value. 24, deductions. Hai na, everybody? But use common sense, bacho. Every chapter is different, okay? Every chapter is different means what? Every head of income is different. So deductions given in 24 is under which head of income? House property. So we can use 24 deductions or deductions given in section 24 only for income from house property. Understood the point? Don't use this deduction in chapter of salaries or PGBP or capital gain. Every chapter or head of income is unique. I told you the first section in head of income also always gives you charging section, and the remaining sections of that head of income tells you computation or how to compute, how to find out the taxable income from that head of income. Correct, here? So now, if at all you are not aware, maybe, but next section will be section 28. Next means I'm talking of next head of income, let us say PGBP. In sequence or ascending order is 28. So from 22 to 27 everything is about only house property. So we will use these sections 22 to 27 only for house property. So this deduction of 24 we will not take anywhere else. Clear, Nitin, Khushbu, Indrajit, Mansi? These are basic things. That's why I'm focusing so much on that. Okay. Now, what does 24 say? Because some deduction, this word you're using, hearing it quite again and again. Section 10AA we saw it was only for SEZ. Chapter 6 says section 80C to 80U. It is only again for it is to be reduced from GTI, gross total income. And that was chapter 6 deduction. Here we are talking of in the head of income itself, we can something reduce. Okay. So check. Deduction under section 24. 24A and 24B. Ready? The first deduction is standard deduction. And what is the figure? It is 30% straightforward. Again, blanket. Blanket means straightforward rate. Or 30% of what? NAV. So whatever NAV figure you got, of that 30% you are allowed as standard. You can reduce 30% standard deduction. Clear, Delia? And point number B is bacho, interest on borrowed capital. Interest on borrowed capital. Borrowed capital, can I use some other term for it? Name. Borrowed capital. Simple, bacho, any other name for that? Very good, Indrajit. Loan, simple, very nice. Obviously, if we borrow loan, if we take loan, we will pay interest also on the same. Obviously, we will repay principal along with interest. Extra, no? Extra interest I'll pay. I'm getting deduction of what? But principal or interest? Only interest. Yes, still here, all of you? That's it. Hardly in 5 lines. Then our head of income is finalized. Income from house property. Clear till here? So what are the steps? GAV. This, now you know how to calculate GAV. From that, you can reduce what? Municipal taxes paid. Correct till here? You arrive at NAV. After that, you go to what? Section 24 deductions. What does it say? 24A is standard deduction, 30% of NAV. That is again a percentage, so no brains to be used over there. Okay. And 24B is what? Interest on borrowed capital. So if you have taken loan and you have paid interest or interest is applicable, then even that can be reduced. Use common sense. You are getting income from asset. You are getting income from asset. That's why the expenditure on asset is also allowed. What do we tax always? In a way, normally, net profit. So that we don't tax gross sales or gross profit. From gross sales or gross profit, we are allowed to reduce the expenditure or no? Yes. So similarly, whatever income is the capacity is there of the income of the property. Because I told you, expected rent or actual rent, whichever is higher. So the expenditure is also allowed to be reduced. For example, important examples, important expenditure, municipal taxes and interest on borrowed capital. Clear till here? And standard deduction is also given. You tell me, but you just imagine, and you tell me what all expenditure can be there for a house property in a year. You tell me. Imagine, get yourself in the shoes of owner. After 10 years, let us say you have a property, 10 properties are given on rent, electricity. Okay, it is borne by the tenant at times. Property tax is covered in municipal taxes. Good point. Okay, what else? Now, don't tell me electricity, therefore gas pipeline and kitchen items. That is tenant's headache, no? Notary, for registration of deed. Okay, registration of rent agreement. Okay, fine. Even that is shared at times with tenant and owner. Security charges. Which security charges? Very good, Khushbu. Repairs of house. Good point. Maintenance. Very good. Watchman. Acha. Watchman salary. If you're talking a bungalow. Okay, fine. What if you are not in a bungalow? You are staying in society. Then what happens? You don't pay directly to the watchman. But repairs is a good point. It is a good expenditure in a year. You want to renovate also. Let us say you want to do some kind of damage control or coloring. But there is also regularly expenditure, maybe depending where you stay. There is also society maintenance expenditure. Society maintenance. Where I stayed is very nice. Not nice means not that big amount. Just I think 1,000 or 1,200 rupees per month. My friends in Bangalore, they pay 6,000 rupees per month. Okay, 6,000 rupees per month. And then obviously imagine on a very higher scale, it will be 10,000 also maybe per month. Isn't it? Townships, your payment of society maintenance charges per month. You heard of township? Township, you understand townships. They have like lots and lots of building societies, correct? In one area itself. So they give lots of services, also services like gym, swimming pool, town hall, that hall, community hall, etc. And lots of security guards, lots of services, all of that. So their security charges, not security, society maintenance charges are also quite high. Right? Everybody understood earlier? Got it? We'll go ahead, everybody. So the security maintenance charges, repairs charges, or any other thing you can think of, that is not separately covered. Okay? Because it is getting covered in this standard deduction. Are you getting my point? They're reducing our income. They are reducing our income. So ad hoc, ad hoc, you understand? Ad hoc means estimate. So ad hoc rate is given 30%. That is okay, 30%. We take it as your some extra expenditures for the houses. So that is, so your income is getting reduced by 30% over there because of standard deduction. And apart from that, Mansi property, I mean, then we obviously expenses, which expenses, but we're talking of A or B, interest, or standard deduction is a, see, standard deduction is as a percentage, correct? So NAV, if positive, only then obviously standard deduction will be there, correct? NAV cannot be negative. NAV will never be negative, correct? It will be either whatever nil that we will see, or it will be positive. So 24A is 30% is a percentage. Okay. So the only question arises is interest on borrowed capital. What if interest on borrowed capital is high? Then NAV, then obviously we'll go into the sector of field of loss from house property. Yes. That is also possible. Okay. Income includes but loss. This is a little high tech for you right now. Income includes loss also. Okay. Income, see, income means what ultimately? The result or outcome. So it includes profit as well as loss. Okay. So loss, obviously we will not tax loss, but loss situation can be there. If especially only because, mainly because of 24B, that is interest on borrowed capital. Clear till here? Fine. Now you tell me, Bacho, again, on an average, property can be of 30 lakhs, 50 lakhs, 1 crore. I mean, I'm just talking of normal middle figure. Whatever upper, there is no upper limit only. Hai na? Let us say 50 lakhs, 50. I'm talking of a very nominal house, 50 lakhs. Person doesn't have ready-made cash of 50 lakhs, 50. Yes, everybody. So he may let us say take a loan of what 40 lakhs 40. Possible. And on that home loan interest is going on around 8% per annum right now. Right now. So in the first year itself, let us say 40 lakhs into 8%. 8 fours are your what 32. 3.2 lakhs you are paying off as interest. I'm just giving you again example. Okay, this is just again ad hoc estimate. Correct, no? Now property worth 50 lakhs, new hand property also 50 lakhs, but rent can be what on a higher side. I believe 2.4 lakhs. That means 20,000 rupees per month I'm taking, isn't it? If you can buy a property of what bacho 50 lakhs, that means the rent will be. I'm talking very practically. It will be in fact it is lesser in fact. But I'm just taking 20,000 for example. So you earned 2.4 lakhs, but interest you are paying bacho 3.2 lakhs. Then it is a case of what loss from house property. Understood? Okay, Delio. We'll go ahead, everybody. Sure. Again, read this table, everybody. I'll give you time. बोर हो गया तुमको खुशबू? लॉ चालू करे क्या अपन? लॉ में ज्यादा होता है. खुशबू अभी कितने 7-8 साल से पढ़ा रहा हूँ, समझ जाता मुझको बैच में वाइब्स क्या आ रहे हैं. जब बहुत थियरी चलता है, प्रैक्टिकल फिर ऐसा होता है. So ठीक है, एटलीस्ट पढ़ो इसको. We'll do some questions on this, then करते हैं अपन चालू लॉ. We'll take a break. कुछ भी. कुछ पढ़ा? कुछ गया दिमाग में? बहुत सारा. क्या बात है इंद्रजीत, गुड. सारा सही है. ओके, खुशबू हो गया बढ़ के. जागो खुशबू जागो. मानसी हो गया. चलो आगे बढ़े. We'll go ahead then. We're talking of now section 24. What does 24 say? Reduce. Reduce from your NAV. है ना? What does 24 say, बच्चों? Reduce from NAV. Some deduction. Something we can reduce. So it's a good thing or a bad thing? Good thing for the assessee. Good, no? His income will get reduced. So 24A and 24B. Simple. We'll go to very simple on 24A. Nothing is over there. Simply he says, but what? 30% of NAV. Isn't it nice? Obviously, very nice. Okay. Before that NAV, we reduce or no, this municipal taxes. Check here. What do we reduce? But we reduce municipal taxes from GAV. Okay. And we reduce interest on borrowed capital from NAV. This is clear? Okay. Sure. Let's talk about municipal taxes. That is property tax. Also, the other name for it was property tax. Municipal taxes. That is basically taxes levied by local authority. And it is allowed on payment basis. Allowed on, if at all, actually paid. Check. Property taxes are deductible from GAV, subject to these conditions. What? It should be paid by the assessee. That is our owner. That means what? If paid by tenant for your property, not allowed as deduction to the owner. And obviously, the tenant also doesn't get any deduction. Okay, so it should be what, bacho? Paid by the owner. It should be actually paid during the current year, irrespective of the previous year in which the liability to pay such taxes was incurred. Means what? Can I say, bacho, simply? Payment basis means cash basis. Can I say, bacho? Payment basis means cash basis, correct? So is it possible that in 1 year, I have paid off more than 1 year? Possible. Possible. So is it possible that I'll get deduction of property taxes for more than 1 year? Also possible. Simple, no? If I have, bacho, simple, pay attention. 21, 22, 23, correct? And 23, 24. Both of these I paid this in this current year only. So belonging to 22, 23 as well as advance also I have paid. Yes or no? So I'll get both these deduction in the first year itself, this year itself. Will I get any deduction for 23, 24? No, again, later on, again, I'll not get later on because I already claimed it in 22, 23. Correct, Leo? Yeah. But if again in 23, 24, I've paid advance, etc., this and that. So basically, it is allowed on payment basis, cash basis. Understood? Correct? All right. So the different names for the tax is what? Property tax, municipal tax, severance tax, etc., which is levied, that is charged by the local authority. Okay. Finally, here. And next one is what? Interest on borrowed capital. Have you taken loan? Yes. So what are you repaying? Interest. What about principal? That is not allowed over here in section 24. Isn't it? If I take loan of 50 lakhs, for the sake of example, okay, just for the sake of example, I may, let us say, repay 80 lakhs. Loan taken and loan repaid. Clear, all of you? 80 lakhs. So obviously 30 lakhs I'm paying as interest over a period of whatever, divide by 20 years, etc. Yes, everybody, all of you. Correct. The loan tenure is for 20 years. So every year I'll repay some principal. In the beginning, it is always higher as interest, okay, recovered. So every year I'll pay principal as well as every year I'll pay interest. What deduction I'll get in 24B? Always only for the interest component. Clear, Delia? Principal is not applicable over here, right? At least for this chapter and this section mainly, let us say. Okay. So we'll go ahead, everybody. Sure. Check everybody. Interest payable because you have taken loan. Why have you taken loan? Borrowed for 5 purposes. Check what 5 purpose. Acquisition, purchase, construction, repairs, renew, or reconstruction. Okay. If you've taken loan for purchase, construction, repair, renew, or reconstruct completely, then bachcho, the loan taken, whatever loan you have taken, the interest paid on the same or interest applicable on the same is allowed as deduction. Under section 24B. Clear? And be claimed as deduction. Understood? However, check here now, main difference between municipal taxes and interest and borrowed capital. It is now allowed on accrual basis, not on payment basis. Interest due, take deduction. Or you can claim deduction or you are allowed deduction. Even if unpaid. Yes. Correct. Interest payable on a fresh loan taken to repay the original loan is also allowed as deduction. This I'll do later on. Okay. Loan taken to repay earlier loan. It will be too heavy for you right now. Okay. Interest related to year of completion of construction can be fully claimed in that year, irrespective of the date of completion. Again, this will be a little bit again heavy for you. So wait for that. However, interest on unpaid interest is not deductible. Means what? Interest on unpaid interest. Did you miss the EMI? Yes, EMI you understand, no? You missed the loan EMI. What will happen? Bank will be very happy. It will be so happy that they will come to your home, isn't it? They'll charge you visiting charges, check bounce charges, whatever, demand charges. But mainly again, they'll charge you interest. Isn't that right? Tell me, all of you. Agree till here? That is not allowed as deduction under 24B, which I'm talking about. You will get. You will get. Loan on loan is allowed. But interest on unpaid, it is like bachcho bank charges or penalty. It is like bachcho bank charges or penalty, or basically you have not paid interest in time. On that again, obviously bank will charge interest, no? Otherwise, you can pay this 20 lakhs, 30 lakhs, 50 lakhs rupees after 20 years. If the bank will not charge you interest, extra interest. Clear till here? So if you have missed some EMI, if you have not paid the loan amount in time, obviously the bank is going to charge you more interest. But that interest is for what? But you unpaid interest, no? Clear? So this is your mistake. So this will not be allowed as deduction. Okay? This is allowed as deduction, even if not paid. Why? Try to understand what did I just say, Khushbu, pay attention. This will be allowed as deduction, even if not paid. Why, bachcho? Because the deduction is allowed on accrual basis. You pay or don't pay. You pay in advance or you don't pay, whatever. It is allowed on accrual basis. Clear? Understood, everybody till here? But if you don't pay, and because of that, bank charges you more interest, then that more interest is not allowed as deduction. Clear? Tell me. Is it okay? Everybody, tell me. Should we try one question, all of you? Come on, guys. Either is like, sir, jaldi, sir, quickly, sir. Question number 3. Shall come to question number 3. Page 5.12. Question number 3, 5.12. Ready? Calculate income from house directly now. Income from house property. My goodness, such a big task in front of you for the year 22-23. Do you remember the steps? What were the steps? Gross annual value, less municipal taxes paid by the owner. You are at net annual value. Then you have 24A, 30% standard deduction of NAV, and 24B, interest on borrowed capital. Clear, all of you? And that is how we'll arrive at income from house property. Hai na? Chalo. So we have different cases, but we have total 4 cases. Okay. What is the first one? The GAV we have given to you, ready-made calculated. Again, GAV we could have calculated. No, remember na, all those things, how to arrive at GAV. We can do it. Anyways, but they have given you municipal taxes and interest on borrowed capital. Very simple. Figures are ready-made given to you. So write down. Computation of. Computation of income from house property for AY. 23-24. Agreed? We have different cases. So I'm writing a case 1 now. Particulars rupees. Fine. We'll go ahead, everybody. Chalo. What should we start with first with? Obviously, GAV is given to you. GAV, which I'm writing outer column, 8 lakh it is. Yes, all of you. What do we reduce from GAV? Municipal taxes. Correct, Ilya? How much bacha allowed? 40,000. Will reduce bacha 40,000 then? No. Why will we not reduce? Because municipal taxes is allowed on payment basis. Have they paid it? No. So I'm writing bacha not allowed. Since not paid, simple. So what do I arrive at? Net annual value. Yes, everybody? Net annual value, NAV, is still 8 lakhs. Clear to all of you? Then what do I reduce now? Less. Pay attention now. Deductions under section 24A. Not 24A, sorry, just 24. Under A, first one we have is standard deduction. Correct, earlier, all of you? At what rate, bachcho? %30 of NAV. Yes, Celia? Of GAV, oh sorry, of NAV. So 8 lakhs into 30%. So 2,40,000. I'm writing in inner column, nothing else. And B is interest on borrowed capital. Yes. Some figures given to you. One lakh, but it is unpaid. Will allow it or not allow it now? Kushbu, Nitin. Kushbu Mansi, correct? How much? Allowed as deduction. Hello, Kushal. Why? Since allowed on accrual basis. Simple. Eh? It is for the current year. No, no, no. All the details are given to you for the current year. Who all is online on YouTube? Is it Kushal? The details are, everything is for the current year, so okay. If at all they want, they will give you details. If it is of current year, previous year, future year, whatever it is. Okay. You got it? So it is of current year but unpaid. But what did I tell you? It is always allowed on accrual basis. They're exactly opposite. Who? Your municipal taxes and interest on borrowed capital are exactly opposite. Municipal taxes allowed only on payment basis. And but your interest on borrowed capital allowed on accrual basis. Clear? So here, how much can we reduce? 3,40,000. Yes, all of you? What do we arrive at? Income from house property. Clear till here? How much? 460, 470, 460, sorry. Correct. Kushbu, Nathan, understood? Again, I'm repeating. Municipal taxes allowed on payment basis and interest allowed on accrual basis. Clear? All right. Chalo, come on, come on, come on. Next one. Case 2. Ready? Again, particulars rupees. Ready, all of you? So the same thing. So you can quickly write in short, quickly. GAV, 8 lakhs. Less bachor municipal taxes. How much now? It is paid. Allowed or not allowed now? Not allowed. Why? Since not paid by owner. Since not paid by owner. Correct? Important, na? Very important. It has to be paid by owner during the current year, then it is allowed as deduction. So it is not paid by owner, that's why not allowed. Finally, here, what do we arrive at? NAV, still the same, 8 lakhs. Less what? Deduction under section 24. Fine. A, standard deduction at the rate of 30% of NAV. 2,40,000. Correct, all of you? and B. Still the same interest on borrowed capital. No changes over here. So we're getting the same answer. 1 lakh. Total 460, no, all of you? Done. Everybody. Case 3. Ready? Particulars rupees. GAV case 3, 8 lakhs. I'm writing it short now. Municipal tax is paid. It is paid on 1st April 2022. Allowed. Allowed since I'm writing paid by owner. They have not given the details. So that's why we are assuming. During PY. How much? 40,000. Fine till here, all of you. What do I arrive at? NAV. 760. Fine till here, all of you. Next one, what do we reduce? Again, same thing, less deduction under section 24. A is what? Standard deduction at the rate of 30% of NAV. You know? How much it is? 22, 23, whatever. 228, is it? Tell me. Nathan, correct? And B, what are these things? Interest on borrowed capital. Again, we'll assume it is of the current year. That is an assumption. Assumed accrued during PY. Fine till here? Whatever this is coming to. $378 is it? Is it? Income from HP. Income from house property. But how much? 382 is it? Tell me. Done. And case 4. Speed is fast or is it okay? You're managing. Okay. Ready? Still the same GAV, 8 lakhs. Municipal tax is 40,000. Paid on 31/3/23, last day of the year, allowed 40,000. But 10,000 relate, only 10,000 relates to 22/23. Totally paid how much? 40,000. But of the current year is 10,000. How much will it take? 40 or 10 or 30? 10,000? 10,000, Mansi, Nitin? Less municipal taxes? Paid. 40,000. Why? Wherever you do mistakes in your notebook, give a star mark over there. Important. Wherever you do a mistake in your notebook. Because it's not the first question. Very good, Mansi. This I'm repeating now the fourth time. Municipal taxes is allowed on payment basis. It can be of 1 year, 10 years, 5 years, 2 years paid on. I've explained it also. It is allowed on payment basis. Means what? Whatever you paid in the year, it is allowed. Even if it belongs to earlier years, even if it belongs to future years. Even if it is of period, even if it belongs to more than 1 year. It is allowed on payment basis. Clear? Again, I'm repeating here. Payment basis means what? Whatever, whenever you pay, that year we will allow. Okay? If you don't pay, we will not allow. If you pay more than 1 year, we will allow all of them together in the year of payment. Clear? NAV 760. Less deduction under section 24A, standard deduction at the rate of 30% of NAV. That's what 228, no? Fine. B. Interest on borrowed capital. What does the point say over there? 2 lakh paid, out of which 50,000 relates to the next year, 23-24. Total 2 lakh is paid. Correct? So for 23-24 is 50,000 and 22-23 it is 1,50,000. How much, Mansi? When you do mistakes, the same mistakes again, then it is irritating. I have to go into basics of accounts now to tell you what is accrual system, what is cash system. Accrual, it is accrued, you will take deduction. 23-24 is not accrued yet. Use common sense now. He has paid in advance. I've been telling you 10th time now. Municipal taxes and interest on borrowed capital are exactly opposite. Municipal taxes is allowed on payment basis. This is allowed on interest on borrowed capital is allowed on accrual basis. Okay, done. Then you also made the same mistake. Khushbu. Income from house property. How much then it is? 382. Same figure, no? And I'm just taking only but your concept clarity questions still. Whatever concepts we are done for that clarification, and we are doing all these questions. These are not even advanced questions. Okay. Revise this again. Do it again in your notebook. Read that provision again. And wherever you do mistakes, give a star mark over there in the notebook. Okay. So it will be highlighted to you for your normal understanding. All right, everybody. Okay, so please revise. No homeworks. Generally, I don't give any homework. Your homework is always to read whatever has been covered. Okay. And yes, if possible, read 1 or 2 page extra. even if you just understand 10% of it. That is okay. All right. That's it for tax for today then. Is it okay? Yeah. All right.